So today's upper body training session was an absolute blast. Top end single, 275 for one. That's a 1 rep max. Backed off with 257 for a set of 3. That's a 3 rep max. And then we're going to take it back to 245 for a set of 5. And that, as you guessed, is a 5 rep max. I actually followed this up with a 10 rep max as well. I don't know what the heck got into me. I just ran the taper in such a way that I cleared a bunch of PRs in the same workout. Ruins of fun for the ones coming up though, my goodness. Whew, that was a grinder. As soon as that was done, I cleared 4 sets of 10 reps with the thick handle, supinated pull downs. Starting to finally climb up in weight. That crushing power is developing. In the hands, those forearms are getting stronger. And then took a very small jump on the rack pulls. I believe this was only a 2.5 pound jump over last time I was on these, but I could be wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong with those things. 257.5 pounds for sets of 8. Although I will tell you, even though I only did a couple of heavy sets, there wasn't a lot of fatigue relative to rep work on the pull downs this week. My grip was shot running 3 sets of 8 on the rack pulls here. So I'm glad I only took that small progression. Then all-time best on the dumbbell extensions, lying dumbbell extensions, took the 50s for a spin. I've never done that before. The form definitely wasn't the best I've ever had, but I was pretty stoked that I got to take a new set of dumbbells for a spin on this exercise. It's always encouraging when you hit PRs on random exercises. Then finish off with a little bit of rope press down work, as you guys know, one of my favorite exercises. And then that was a wrap for the first upper body session of the week. First thing Thursday morning, it's going to be a easy leg day today. I shouldn't say easy, it's simple. Few SSB squats, some stiff leg deadlifts, then some weighted lunges. Nothing too intense. Coming to the end of this training block, only a couple of, weeks left, 2 weeks maybe. I have to double check. And then we're going to be mixing things up. So it's always enjoyable when you get to the end of a training block. A little bit of monotony starts to set in. But if you can persevere, if you can push through it, the yield is always great. And then there's a little more refreshing training right around the corner. But that will inevitably become monotonous too, because that's just a part of getting stronger. And we're in the 300-pound club on the SSB squat for a triple. Backed it off to 265 pounds for 4 respective triples. Pretty soon we'll be closing in on 400-pound club with the SSB squat, and that'll be pretty cool as well. I'm surprised at how much separation I can see in the legs. The leg development is really coming along. Seeing as once upon a time, I used to have chicken legs, if you can even believe that. They were scrawny as scrawny could be. Some stiff leg deadlifts here with 235 for sets of 6. Way far away from failure on these. I've got so much left in the tank on these stiff leg deadlifts. And it's funny because I never really considered doing these heavy until maybe the past year or so, even though they're not heavy yet, but they're going to be, I promise. And then finished off this lower body session with walking lunges for 166 for 2 sets of 6 per leg. So, like I said, short, sweet, simple. Not easy per se, but definitely not overly challenging. Solid training session. Thursday went well. Now it's time to save up some fuel in the tank to make sure we smash some PRs this weekend. Saturday's session was a little bit of a disappointment because I was supposed to hit a top end set of 4 with 289 pounds on the bench, and I hit a top end set of 3. It happens. You win some, you lose some. That's okay. Onwards and upwards. Backed it off with 4 sets of 4 at 260 pounds. Sorry, that's 5 sets. I threw in an extra set because I was disappointed and I missed my main set. It's probably not the best way to go about it, but I was having one of those days. I felt like a winner when I got under the bar. And the iron doesn't BS you. Still a little frustrated about that. It is what it is, though. Did some mid and upper back accessory work, as you can see, with the belt squat rows and the incline bench supported face pulls. From here, ran some more high rep work on the straight bar tricep press downs, inched the weight up and kept the reps high, 25 rep sets. That's 100 total reps. That is a solid pump. That ends up taking place in the back of the arms. Delts are popping right now, which is surprising because this is the most developed my delts have ever been and the least delt work I've probably ever done. So Curious how that works. A lot of heavy pressing though, so I imagine that's the main contributing factor there. And then I finished off this upper body training session with some alternating dumbbell curls. Managed to get my hands on the 30s this week and still cleared sets of 15. I was very surprised by that actually, because that's relatively high rep work for that weight for me. Dumbbell curls are my nemesis with a supinated position, as is the case at the end of the alternating part of the curl. Hammer curls, I can grab the 50s and the 55s. I can crank out a few reps, but I just find that the second that rotation of the palm occurs up towards the ceiling, that fatigue sets in like crazy in the higher rep ranges. All in all, solid session. We'll take it. What's up, guys? It's Sunday morning, daylight savings day. I hate this day when it's spring forward because it just seems to ruin the entire structure of my day. Regardless, gonna get under the bar. We got front squats and rack pulls today, so we're gonna make some weights clang and bang first thing in the AM, even though it's later in the AM than I might prefer. You gotta do what you gotta do. It won't be like this for another year. And in the fall, we get to fall back, which also doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But at least in my head, I feel like I gained an hour. So that's always fun. 340 for a single on the front squat. The most weight I've ever front squatted. Even the back offsets were almost the most weight I've ever front squatted. And then check out this rack pull, 551 pounds for one set of one rep. It was a good day. I had to bust a few dance moves at the end here. I hope you can understand the excitement that comes from lifting the most weight you've ever lifted. Boom, baby.